For 3 millennia, the Galactic Federation had maintained peace across the stars. An achievement heralded as the pinnacle of interstellar diplomacy, the peace was so absolute that most civilizations had forgotten the concept of war. That is, until the Zorkith Empire declared hostilities against humanity. The reason? Humanity's audacity to terraform an uninhabited planet near Zorkith borders. The Federation was thrown into chaos. Protests erupted, diplomats scrambled to mediate, and species unaccustomed to conflict prepared for a war they didn't understand. But when the Zorkith fleet reached Earth's orbit, humanity's reaction wasn't fear or anger. It was laughter. The Zorkith perspective. Grand Admiral Kroth stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Vengeful Maw, as he delivered his ultimatum to Earth's leaders. You have defiled sacred territory. For this, your species will be eradicated. Moments later, the transmission cut out, and the humans' response arrived. It was laughter. Kroth blinked his 6 eyes in confusion. He replayed the transmission. Yes, that was unmistakable. Laughter. From every human leader present. They mock us? Kroth growled, his claws flexing against the command console. Prepare to attack. Humanity's perspective. What's the fleet count? President Adebayo asked, still chuckling as she sipped her coffee. 200 ships, give or take, replied General Novak, scrolling through the data. They've got basic plasma cannons and sublight engines. No shields, no cloaking tech. Looks like they haven't fought a real war in ever. Bless their hearts, Adebayo muttered, shaking her head. Should we deploy the Mars fleet? Novak asked. No need, Adebayo said, grinning. Let's send the Rust Bucket Brigade. They've been itching for a training exercise. Then counter. The Rust Bucket Brigade, a motley collection of outdated human ships used for cadet training, jumped into orbit around Earth. The Zorkith fleet awaited, their shimmering hulls and tightly disciplined formations a stark contrast to humanity's patched-up, graffiti-covered vessels. Open comms, Captain Torres of the HMS Scrapheap said, her voice barely containing laughter. This is Captain Torres of the Earth Defense Corps. Welcome to our solar system. Do you wish to surrender now or after we turn your fleet into scrap metals? The Zorkith commander's response was immediate. Your primitive vessels are no match for the might of the Zorkith Empire. Moments later, the scrap heap fired a warning shot, a single railgun slug that bypassed the Zorkith shields entirely and sliced clean through one of their cruisers. What was that? A Kroth roared, his confidence shaken. That, Torres said with a smirk, was humanity holding back. Want to see what happens when we don't? Aftermath. The battle lasted all of 10 minutes. Humanity's rust buckets outmaneuvered, outgunned, and outclassed the Zorkith fleet at every turn. By the end, the Zorkith ships were limping away, broadcasting frantic surrender signals. The Federation convened an emergency meeting to address the incident. You ended 3,000 years of peace, one delegate accused the humans. Not our fault, Adebayo replied with a shrug. They started it. We finished it. And now, they'll think twice before poking the bear again, Novak said with a grin. From that day forward, humanity's reputation as the galaxy's sleeping giant was solidified. Peace returned, but this time, everyone knew exactly what would happen if someone dared to break it. Chapter 1. The Shattered Silence. The Galactic Accord had stood for 3 millennia, a testament to the unity and cooperation of countless civilizations. War was an artifact of a less civilized era, and the Accord ensured disputes were settled through diplomacy, trade agreements, or carefully orchestrated competitions. For 3,000 years, the galaxy had known peace. Until now. The first sign was subtle, a ripple in subspace communications that most dismissed as background interference. But on the fringes of the known galaxy, a message was intercepted. It was blunt, almost crude in its directness. The Galactic Accord is a lie. Prepare for war. The message came from the Vrax Empire, a species known for their towering stature, exoskeletal armor, and a history of conquest before the Accord. Most dismissed it as a hoax, a rogue faction making idle threats. But then, one by one, Outer Rim colonies began to fall silent. Admiral Tanis of the Galactic Fleet, a hybrid of the Krell and human species, stared at the star map projected in the middle of the bridge. "Another colony lost contact," said Commander Rolek, a feline-like Turlin with fur that bristled with anxiety. "It's not just interference." "Which colony?" Tanis asked, her voice sharp. "Series 3. Human settlement. Population, 150,000. Last transmission mentioned ships of unknown design entering orbit." Then nothing? Tanis felt a knot tighten in her stomach. Humanity, a species often mocked for their brashness and unpredictability, had been one of the youngest members of the Accord. And yet, they had proven resilient, carving out colonies in some of the galaxy's harshest environments. "Get me a secure channel to Earth," Tanis ordered. Earth's response was characteristically human. "They attacked us?" President Alina Vega leaned back in her chair, her expression a mixture of disbelief and amusement. "They broke 3,000 years of peace to attack us." "Madam President," the Secretary of Defense began, "this is a serious—" "Oh, I know it's serious," Vega interrupted, her eyes glinting. "But let's not pretend this isn't also a little funny. I mean, who starts a galactic war with humanity? Have they never read a history book?" Around the table, her advisors exchanged uneasy glances. Humanity's history, scarred with wars, revolutions, and an insatiable drive to overcome, was legendary. When humanity joined the Accord, they had promised to leave that history behind. But now, with the Vraks threatening their existence, that history felt less like a burden and more like a weapon. Chapter 2: First Contact Again. The Vraks fleet arrived at Alpha Centauri, a jewel of human colonization, with overwhelming force. Dozens of dreadnoughts, bristling with weapons, emerged from hyperspace like predators descending on prey. The colony's orbital defenses barely had time to activate before they were obliterated. General Arvok, supreme commander of the Vraks forces, watched from the bridge of his flagship, the Dominance. "Human defenses are pathetic," he sneered. "They have grown soft under the Accord's protection. Begin the ground invasion." As drop pods rained down on the colony, the Vraks expected swift surrender. Instead, they encountered something entirely different. The first wave of Vrak soldiers stormed a human settlement, their plasma rifles cutting through civilian infrastructure. But as they advanced, they noticed something strange. Humans weren't fleeing in terror. They were laughing. "What's so funny?" snarled a Vrak soldier, pointing his rifle at a middle-aged human man who was doubled over, tears streaming down his face. The man straightened, his grin wide. "Oh, you poor bastards," he said, shaking his head. "You really have no idea what you've done, do you?" Before the soldier could respond, a rocket-propelled grenade streaked through the air, striking the Vrak's troop carrier behind him. The explosion was deafening, sending debris and alien soldiers flying. From the smoke emerged human fighters, armed with a mix of high-tech weaponry and improvised gear. "For Earth," a young woman shouted, her voice carrying above the chaos. She fired an energy rifle with deadly precision, her movements fluid and fearless. The Vraks, accustomed to fighting subdued and demoralized enemies, found themselves overwhelmed. Human tactics were erratic, unpredictable, and devastatingly effective. They used the terrain to their advantage, setting ambushes and traps that turned every street and building into a battlefield. From his command center, General Arvok watched the carnage unfold with growing disbelief. "What is happening? These primitives should be cowering before us." An aide approached hesitantly. "General, it appears the humans have a long history of warfare. They are uniquely suited to this kind of conflict." Arvok's mandibles clicked in frustration. "Then we will escalate. Deploy the second wave. No more mercy." In orbit, Admiral Tanis received the report from Alpha Centauri with a grim smile. "They underestimated us," she said, turning to her crew. "And now, they'll pay the price." "Admiral, Earth has authorized counteroffensive measures," Rolek reported. "They're sending reinforcements." "Reinforcements? From where?" Tanis asked. Rolek hesitated. "Everywhere. Earth has declared total mobilization." The room fell silent. Total mobilization was a relic of humanity's past wars, a last resort measure that turned entire economies and societies into engines of war. It had not been invoked in centuries. "Send a message to the fleet," Tanis said, her voice cold and determined. "We're not just defending the Accord. We're reminding the galaxy who we are." In the days that followed, the Vraks learned the hard way what humanity was capable of. Guerrilla fighters turned every colony into a death trap. Orbital strikes were met with coordinated counterattacks. And as human fleets began to regroup and retaliate, the Vraks found themselves on the defensive for the first time in centuries. Across the galaxy, whispers spread among the other species. The humans were laughing in the face of war. They were fighting with a ferocity that defied understanding. And for the first time in 3,000 years, the galaxy remembered what it meant to fear. Section 2. Galactic High Council, War Chamber. The chamber buzzed with a rare energy that hadn't been felt in millennia. For the first time in over 3,000 years, the Galactic High Council was convening on a matter of war. Delegates of every species, from the crystalline virisk to the cephalopodic whole, were seated around the massive ovoid table, their bioluminescent nameplates glowing with soft hues. All eyes were on Supreme Strategist Ziltan of the Scarvan Dominion as he gestured dramatically toward the holographic projection at the center of the table. It displayed Earth, rotating serenely amidst its lunar companion. "For far too long," Ziltan intoned, his voice resonating with manufactured gravitas, "the humans have been a thorn in the side of galactic unity. Their unchecked expansion, their irreverence for tradition, and most egregiously, their insolent laughter in the face of our demands." A murmur of agreement rippled through the chamber. Ziltan clenched his claws. "They think themselves invincible. But today we prove otherwise. Today we launch Operation Silence the Stars." A ripple of approval surged around the table. The council delegates had grown tired of the humans' defiance and their bafflingly good humor in the face of galactic politics. While the other species of the galaxy upheld the sacred tenets of diplomacy, humanity treated the Galactic High Council with levity, as if they didn't take them seriously at all. Earth, United Terran Command Center. In stark contrast to the tense atmosphere of the Galactic High Council, the mood in the United Terran Command Center was casual. General Marcus Hanlon leaned back in his chair, sipping a steaming cup of coffee as the massive screen displayed incoming reports from deep space sensors. "Looks like the Council's finally making their move," he remarked, his tone more amused than alarmed. "What's the tally?" A young lieutenant, her uniform slightly askew, tapped at her console. "We've detected 842 vessels in their fleet so far, sir. Mostly Virisk battlecruisers and Scarvan dreadnoughts. They're amassing at the edge of the Centauri system." Hanlon chuckled, setting his coffee down. "They're really bringing the big guns, huh? Tell me, are they broadcasting a declaration of war yet? Or are they just hoping we'll be surprised?" "No declaration yet, sir. But we intercepted some encrypted communications. They're calling it Operation Silence the Stars." The entire command room erupted in laughter. Hanlon wiped a tear from his eye. "Oh, that's rich. I bet Ziltan named it himself. Sounds like something he'd come up with." "Should we scramble the fleet, General?" the lieutenant asked, a smile still tugging at her lips. Hanlon shook his head. "Nah, let's not ruin their fun just yet. Prep the defense grid and alert the diplomatic corps. This is going to be hilarious." Galactic High Council Fleet, approaching Sol System. Supreme Strategist Ziltan stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Oblivion's Claw, staring at the view screen with predatory satisfaction. Earth was finally within reach. The humans had to know they were coming by now, but their lack of response irked him. "Have they issued any pleas for mercy?" Ziltan demanded. The communications officer, a jittery quoll with shimmering tentacles, shook its head. "No, Supreme Strategist. No transmissions of any kind. Arrogant primates," Ziltan growled. "Prepare the fleet for planetary bombardment. I want their primary defense installations neutralized within the first salvo." As his officers scrambled to comply, Ziltan allowed himself a moment of indulgence. "Soon, The humans' laughter would be silenced forever. Earth, United Terran Command Center. They're lining up for a bombardment, the lieutenant reported, her tone more bemused than concerned. Hamlin raised an eyebrow. Really? They're going straight to orbital bombardment without even testing our outer defenses? Rookie move. What's the status of the defense grid? Fully operational, sir. All orbital platforms are online and tracking their fleet. Hamlin nodded. Good. Let's give them a little light show. Activate the Aegis array. Above Earth, a network of massive orbital platforms hummed to life. Beams of energy lanced out into space, creating a shimmering shield that enveloped the planet. The Council fleet's first salvo of plasma bolts and kinetic projectiles disintegrated harmlessly upon contact. What are we seeing? Ziltan demanded as the bridge of the Oblivion's claw erupted into chaos. Their planet is shielded, Supreme Strategist, an officer stammered. Our weapons are ineffective. Ziltan's mandibles clicked in frustration. Impossible. No shield can withstand a coordinated assault of this magnitude. Back on Earth, Hamlin leaned back with a grin as he watched the Council fleet flounder. All right, time to let them know we're here. Open a channel. The face of General Hamlin appeared on the view screens of every ship in the Council fleet. He was holding a mug that read, World's Okayest General. Greetings, esteemed members of the Galactic High Council, Hamlin began, his tone dripping with mock formality. We see you've come a long way to visit. Unfortunately, we're not accepting unannounced guests at the moment. But thanks for the fireworks, great entertainment. The bridge of the Oblivion's claw fell silent. Ziltan stared at the screen, his fury mounting. You dare mock us? He hissed. Hamlin raised an eyebrow. Mock you? Oh no, I'm thanking you. Our people haven't laughed this hard in years. Did you really think you could just roll up to Earth and take us out? Adorable. Section 3. Humanity responds. The moment the alien armada appeared on the edge of the solar system, humanity watched with a mixture of curiosity and bemusement. The peaceful Pax Universalis, which had lasted for over 3 millennia, was shattered by the announcement of the Zauric Imperium. A species renowned for their meticulous adherence to order and superiority complexes, the Zauric declared their intent to dominate Earth and subjugate humanity, a species they considered an anomaly among the galactic community. The Zauric fleet, a sprawling conglomeration of sleek black battleships, cruisers, and planet crackers, moved with ominous precision. Their holographic ultimatum was broadcast to every corner of the galaxy, denouncing humanity's defiance of universal norms and declaring their intent to correct the imbalance. They expected fear. What they received instead was laughter. The Council of Earth responds. Inside the towering dome of the United Earth Council headquarters in Geneva, a room filled with representatives from Earth's diverse cultures erupted into chuckles, guffaws, and outright roars of laughter. President Amina Rahal, an unflappable woman known for her steely demeanor, couldn't suppress a grin. They think they can take us on? Asked General Marcus Hayes, head of Earth's Space Defense Force. His voice was tinged with disbelief and mirth. Do they have any idea who they're dealing with? Clearly not, Rahal said, shaking her head. She gestured toward the holographic display that showcased the Zauric fleet's position just beyond the Orc cloud. The question isn't whether we'll win, but how we respond. With style, interjected Dr. Alara Voss, chief of the Advanced Sciences Division. She adjusted her augmented reality glasses, projecting schematics of humanity's latest technologies into the air. The Zauric are using energy weapons that were cutting-edge 2 millennia ago. Their tactics rely on overwhelming force, but they lack adaptability. Frankly, we've been preparing for something far worse than this. The Council deliberated briefly before unanimously agreeing on a strategy to allow the Zauric to advance, just enough to show their hand, before unveiling humanity's true capabilities. It was a chance not only to defend Earth, but to demonstrate why humanity had been left alone for 3,000 years. They weren't just peaceful, they were untouchable. The first strike. The Zauric Imperium's flagship, Eternal Dominance, led the charge. Their sensors detected no signs of resistance as they breached the Orc cloud. This lack of defense emboldened them further. Commodore Velturok, commander of the fleet, addressed his officers. As expected, the humans are overconfident. They have grown fat and complacent under the illusion of peace. Prepare the primary assault. Unbeknownst to Velturok, every movement of his fleet was being tracked in real time by Earth's vast network of quantum AI systems. The AI, affectionately dubbed Athena, monitored the Zaurik's fleet with clinical precision. Athena's voice echoed in the command centers across Earth. The Zaurik fleet is within optimal engagement range. Recommend initiating Phase 1 of Operation Curtain Call. In low Earth orbit, massive orbital platforms powered up. These platforms, hidden in plain sight as weather monitoring stations, unveiled their true purpose. Within seconds, beams of concentrated gravimetric energy lanced out, targeting the Zaurik fleet. Ships that were considered impervious to conventional weapons disintegrated as their molecular bonds were forcibly unraveled. Velturok stared in horror as the eternal dominance rocked violently. "What is happening?" he demanded. "Unknown energy weapon detected," an officer shouted. "Our shields are useless against it." Humanity's hidden arsenal. While the Zaurik scrambled to regroup, humanity unveiled more surprises. Fleets of sleek, unmanned drones launched from hidden bases on the Moon and Mars. Each drone was equipped with adaptive AI, allowing them to react faster than any organic pilot. The drones darted through the Zaurik formation, exploiting weaknesses in their ships' designs with surgical precision. In addition to the drones, humanity deployed its most secretive weapon, the Erebus-class frigates. These stealth ships, equipped with cloaking technology and experimental singularity cannons, were invisible to the Zaurik sensors. One by one, key Zaurik vessels vanished into miniature black holes, leaving the invaders in disarray. The coup de grace came when Earth's defense satellites projected a holographic image of President Rahal directly onto the Zaurik flagship's bridge. "Commodore Velturok," she said, her tone calm but commanding. "You were warned." The Pax Universalis was not maintained out of fear, but out of respect. "Humanity has no interest in conquest, but we will defend ourselves. Stand down or face extinction." Velturok's arrogance faltered. The Zaurik had underestimated humanity's resolve and capabilities, and now they were paying the price. Yet surrender was not an option for a species so steeped in pride. The turning point. Desperation bred recklessness. The Zaurik attempted to deploy their planet cracker weapon against Earth. The massive device, designed to fracture a planet's crust and trigger apocalyptic eruptions, began its slow approach. But humanity was ready. A coalition fleet led by the UNS Aegis, humanity's flagship, intercepted the weapon. The battle that ensued was the stuff of legend. Coordinated strikes from Earth's forces neutralized the planet cracker before it could be activated. In its final moments, the Zaurik fleet was surrounded, their escape routes cut off by Earth's superior technology. Humanity laughs again. As the last Zaurik ships were disabled, humanity's laughter returned. Across the globe, people celebrated the victory. Memes flooded the interstellar communication networks, mocking the Zaurik's arrogance. Videos of the initial Zaurik ultimatum juxtaposed with footage of their fleet's destruction went viral. In the aftermath, the United Earth Council issued a single statement to the galaxy. "Humanity has no desire for war, but let this be a lesson. Peace is not weakness. Should any seek to challenge us, know this. We laugh because we've already won." The Zaurik Imperium retreated to their homeworld, their pride shattered. The galaxy's other civilizations took note. Humanity, it seemed, was not to be trifled with. And for the first time in 3,000 years, the galaxy was truly at peace, not out of mutual agreement, but out of mutual understanding of what humanity was capable of.